Civic Males Festival. Well, I must say, and Richard, can you pass on my congratulations to all those that organised that festival week, because it was fantastic, and it was second to none. The only fly in the ointment was the comedian who the bikini.
I was.
Yeah. but the rest of it was fantastic, and long may it continue, because people have been saying to me what a fantastic week it has been, and so please give them my.
I'll be happy to. Thank you. Thank you for attending. Thank you to Mark and the team for supporting us.
Secondly, I went to Raphael Restaurant for the meet and greet of all the mayors of the county and the areas, and it was a lovely evening, as it usually is at Raphael's. And then yesterday we went to the civic service at Worcester Cathedral. It was very hot, and I must admit. But it was enjoyable, and again we met lots of mayors and the sheriff of Gloucester, and she informed me that she gets her clothes second hand, which was amazing me that she actually said it in front of me. But that's what we do these days, don't we? We don't go buying really expensive clothes anymore. We buy our clothes and make do, and that's great. We do have, I have organised my quiz night for September. It will be in St Andrews, in the Orangery. I've also booked Laura to do my civic service, and that will be February the 15th. So you'll all be able to go out on Valentine's Day and come and join me at St Peter's Church on the 15th. And the theme will be love. And there's very good reason why that's going on. So, and if you want to know why, just come and ask me. And I'll tell you. I don't think I've got anything else planned. On Friday, this coming Friday, I have got, we are going to Droitwich Mews Nursing Home, because apparently they are full now, and they are going to celebrate with a bit of a party. So we will be going and joining them and having a look round. And so I shall let you know when I book anything else and what I'm going to do in the future. So that's the end of my announcements. So now we come on to policing in Droitwich Park. Can I pass you on to Ben? Did you say?
Yes.
Ben.
Good evening, everybody. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So I've got a A4 piece of paper here. If you're struggling to hear what I'm saying, just put your hands up and I'll slow down if needed. Droitwich Town Local Policing Team are the following people: myself, PCSO Ben Morley, and my Sacred Neighbourhood Officer called PC Sarah Clark. PCSO Carrie Giles has now left the team, so I've been now moved. I previously was on the Droitwich West S&C, so some of you might recognise me from that area. From the 1st of March to June the 15th, there's been 29 incidents at Morrison's. 2 of these are damaged locks in the clothing rooms belonging to the Salvation Army, and there's been 27 thefts reported. There have been 4 thefts reported at Aldi in that time period. Poundland has had 1 theft reported. There's been an incident of 2 males fighting outside King Kebab in May, and on 26th of May, there's reported kids doing access behaviour at the cricket club. And when officers did get there, there was no one there. We've recently been asked to complete business surveys across the Droitwich Town area, which is being used to benchmark retailer business confidence. We've had a high completion rate, and this is approximately 80% of the shops across Droitwich have been surveyed. This includes the retail park on the Goodness Road. It's been very interesting to learn about what matters are affecting the businesses. Some are raising concerns that the current level of police visibility is too low. When we've seen this, we've been asking shops what they mean by this and how we can improve satisfaction with ourselves. I've personally found that when I go into quite a few shops, they are experiencing shop thefts, but they don't have time to phone 101, as we all know how long it can be sometimes to phone 101 and waiting for an answer. However, when they try and report it online, the reporting tool is very convoluted and not user-friendly for businesses. So, as you can probably imagine, shops, when they told me, they've got a lot of paper to fill in and they've had a shop theft. So they've put a duplicate, they've put something on their systems, they've had to do their report it on their systems, etc. What they're saying to me is that when it comes to reporting online, because of how convoluted and difficult the form is to navigate, they just give up and they don't want to report it because it's just too difficult. So what I've done, I've contacted the Worcester Bid. So some of you might know it from Worcester, but it's a business improvement district team that's been operated since April 2010 as a not-for-profit organisation focused on enhancing trading conditions for the businesses. So even though we're in Droitwich, we are on the border of Worcester and we are having quite a few shop thefts, and we're going to see if we can have a meeting with them to see what support they could give us and also what we can do to try and improve stuff for the businesses as well. Once they've come back to us in relation to that as well, then I can liaise with my colleagues within West Mercia. So if they can show me that possibly we could get some funding for this to try and make it easier for the businesses, I can then maybe go to our organisation and just see if there's anything that we can do to report online to make it easier for the businesses to do, so it's not so difficult. In relation to the graffiti that's been done around Droitwich, this has not been reported to us. However, we are aware that graffiti has been done on down Tagwell Road near the M5 bridge. I've been down there and taken pictures of these images. I've also done reverse image searching. So reverse image searching, you don't know, is basically when you can do it on Google, where you look at images of something, or for example, if you were to do it on your phone, for example, it would then come back to you and say that this has been found on the internet. Because what the people were doing beforehand, they were uploading it online. So just trying to see if they're uploading to any social media or they're putting it on any of the websites just to try and see if we can get any advance inquiry with that. Unfortunately, that's not proved anything as of yet. It has been circulated around the schools in Droitwich as well, all the graffiti images. We're quite regularly in contact with all schools in Droitwich. Interestingly, some of the tags that we probably know, like Ascar and stuff like that, and the ones that have been applied to the town, they are slightly different. So they could be copycats, or they could be the same people, but they're just doing it ever so slightly. So there is some subtle changes. So Ascar used to be a S, now it looks like it's an AZ. So what I'd like people to do as well, if they do have stuff or they know things that are going, just let us know as the police. I want to give a shout out to two councillors that I've seen that are doing a great job as well, Super Asia and Neil Franks, doing really good cleaning it up and everything. And it's good to see as well where you guys are doing as well, because some of the stuff that I've seen you do as well is just giving us an idea where this is actually going on as well. There is also a couple of new tags as well that Neil was cleaning up the other day, so that's interesting. So that's going to go to the schools as well to see if they can identify. So, like I said, we are asking people to report it to us if they're seeing people do this, if they see anyone spray cans or anything at all. It might not, like in relation to response, who answer the 999 calls, they might not be able to go out to it. However, if we are on duty to look at police and things, we'll go out to that all day long. So, in relation to also people giving names as well, when it comes to if people come to you and say, I know who's doing it, pass it on to us. We can reassure them and say it's nothing from you. We're not going to say to them that you told us information. That will never, ever, ever happen. So if people do know something, just get in contact with us and let us know. We can speak to them and reassure them. In relation to the motorbike thefts, we did have a spate over them on the Christmas period. One person was arrested for handling stolen goods, and 4 of the youths were voluntarily interviewed, all of whom denied doing this. At this time, we're not progressing this due to lack of evidence, and we're waiting for their phones to be downloaded. We've had a couple of incidents recently involving motorbikes. One was stolen from Charles Henry Road that was later recovered in Vines Park last week. And 3 weeks ago, there was an attempted theft of a motorbike near Charleston School. We are still getting reports of youths racing around on bikes with balaclavas, riding in an antisocial manner. If people are coming to you reporting that, please ask them to report it to us as the police so we can try and take positive action with that. If they've got any CCTV or any pictures at all, please ask them to contact us as well, because It might be a picture of someone on a bike, a certain outfit they're wearing, for example, but we can then cross-reference to other reports that we're getting on the day, for example. It is difficult when they're wearing balaclavas, but because we know the youth quite well across Droitwich, we can't say 100% with definite it is them, but we likely believe it is going to be them. In relation to them potentially getting fuel from all the fuel stations in Droitwich, all the fuel stations have been made aware not to serve youths and like that, coming in like maybe a petrol can or something like that, or wanting to do that. All petrol stations have said to me when I've spoken to them about it that they've already got policies and procedures in place not to serve, which is great. So if you do get any CCTV, please let us know. We can come and collect that so we can try and identify those youths in particular. In relation to trying to get information on the people's names, we do have had some names mentioned, but again, it's very difficult to. We've gone and spoken to the people in particular about it, and they said it's not us. And it's really difficult, but if we can get more people speaking up about it, if people want to do it by Crime Stoppers, that's absolutely fine. But if people are coming to you, pass on our contact details to the police, I want to speak to them and reassure them that they're not going to get in trouble, we're not going to reveal who it is. We've also now got a problem-solving plan, so that's creating some police systems whereby there's a problem and we're going to try and solve the problem. So we're collecting all the information on there, where the bike thefts have been happening, where there's antisocial behaviour going on with the bikes, so we can just try and see where to target. In relation, there was a bike that was recovered, which some of you might remember, probably about 6 or 7 weeks ago now, where some obviously way under the railway bridge. We had a flurry of calls that night regarding that bike. So we went looking out for it, and eventually we did come across it, and we managed to get it. Unfortunately, by the time we got there, the youths that we saw with it had run off. We did try and chase them, but unfortunately we didn't get anywhere. But again, we're asking people to report. So that night we had a flurry of calls, which is brilliant, because we could, when we're on duty, when the controller was saying to us, oh, they're here, but we're one step ahead of them, because people are actually finding it. So if you could pass that on to your constituents as well, that'd be really appreciated, and if they could keep doing that as well, that'd be really good. In relation to drug dealers as well, in the last recent 3 months, we've successfully intercepted 4 drug dealers in Droitwich as well. These are people that have been coming from Birmingham out of area, but we've managed to get them as well. So some of them have been remanded, some of them are on bail at the moment. So, and that's from people speaking to us and just saying to us that this is going on in their area. And that's what we need to keep saying, that people keep reporting to us, so we can try and take positive action.
Has anybody got any questions? Yes, Councillor Brazier.
Just something that flashed into my brain. I read somewhere that the PCSOs are going to be going to bed earlier. Is that going to happen here?
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit?
It's been out of our hands. It's a decision that's been made by the organisation. So PCSOs, we normally work from 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock at night. We are now going to be working from 8 o'clock to 8 o'clock, unfortunately. So that's going to mean that there's going to be a 2-hour gap in where we would previously be. So if there is issues, or if you're concerned about it, please just raise it with the organisation, just pass your concerns on and say that we have tried saying about it as well that it's not going to work properly. But
I think, well, on the face of it, the more the better, you know.
Yeah, Councillor Brazier.
Okay, thanks for your report. A lot more detailed than we've had previously, and that was something I was going to bring up, but I'm pleased that you've gone into more detail this time. I found more graffiti, which I can report to you later. Asker and Basic have been put it again.
I'll drop my business card when I come around.
Yeah, and then I can send you the pictures.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, that's good.
Fine.
Thanks.
Yeah, Councillor Franks.
I think one of the things I was talking to residents about recently was obviously driving, speeding with drivers. And they, especially down the Holloway, I mean other places, but that was about the Holloway. And the problem is that the speeding is often happening with a certain group of drivers about from 6:30 till about 8:30 at night.
Okay.
But the survey teams finished by then, and they're not there to catch them when they're actually speeding. And I was just wondering, do the survey team work for a certain time, or can they work out of hours?
Do you mean like the camera?
Yeah, the camera teams. Yeah.
I think there's going to be lots of regulations where they can go to. Like is it happening at certain times of the day, like
It's,
like every day?
it's
or-
not every day, but it's when it's happening, it's usually sort of 6:30 to 8:30. And then you've got the little so-and-so's once, but
Okay.
I got interrupted at the wrong moment and couldn't quite get the license plate detail. But
I'm just going to say, if you do get the license plate details, or if anyone comes to you, or even a partial one, just let us know and we can do something with that. Because what we can do in relation to speeding vehicles, so we can find out who it is, speak to them and say, there's been reported that this is happening, you need to stop what you're doing. Sometimes they take it on board, sometimes they don't. What we can do, if they continue to persist to do it, is they'll be given what's called a Section 59. So Section 59 is a police order on that vehicle. So if someone's been driving in an antisocial manner, that will then stick on that vehicle for 12 months. So if, for example, they go to Manchester or Liverpool or anywhere and they're driving in an antisocial manner, that vehicle will then be taken off them. So I'll pass that on to the Droitwich East team to make them aware that this is going on and it is causing issues.
yeah, they can do the north end of the Holloway,
Yeah.
6:30 to about 8:30 every so often, that would be great.
Any other questions? No? Thank you very much for your report.
You're welcome.
Right, we'll carry on then. High school. We receive an update from the senior students team at Droitwich Spa, I presume this is.
I think Councillor Morris is taking this one under the council.
But thank you, Madam Mayor. First of all, Katie, I don't think the webcast is working.
Sport watching.
So Big Brother's saying, Big Brother's watching.
More people watching apparently, I think, but
That's probably because you can't trust Big Brothers.
I'll double check the original thing.
I'll take a look. Okay.
Sorry, high school. So don't know whether you're all aware, but John Brooke has left as headmaster. Finished at the end of May. It's a sad loss because John's been a terrific headmaster and a terrific support to the high school and our community. But he's moving to Mercia, and some may say that's sunnier climes and an opportunity for him. But in place, the governors have appointed two co-heads, Gemma Lloyd-Davis and Claire Moss. They were deputies, so they understand the school. It's a continuation process in terms of their support for the community and for the students. So it should be a smooth handover in that sense. And I'm assured by John that they both feel very strongly about the school engaging with the community and continuing to support the community. Both Councillor Birch and I were invited to the high school's 20th anniversary celebrations with the Ramjas School in New Delhi. It's been a long project of the high school, and they've built a really good relationship up with the school in New Delhi and supported them in their development. 10 students and 4 staff visited Droitwich last month, which was a really good occasion. And the high school will be taking students again from Droitwich in October to New Delhi, and they've already planned a full Himalayan trek. So look forward to that. Do you want to continue with Youth Council?
Please.
Youth Council. Unfortunately, Maisie Truman, we met Maisie here on a number of occasions supporting the Youth Council. Unfortunately, she's leaving in July as well. She's looking to change her career. So she's really enjoyed the Youth Council and working with the town in that capacity, but she wants to try new ventures. Chris Barth has been appointed to replace Maisie and continue the terrific work within the school pyramid. Maisie, Chris and myself are meeting later this week to ensure there's a continuation and a handover. In that sense, Chris is already employed in the high school. At the last Youth Council, we had a presentation from Donna Quinn from Ruby Tuesday. Don't know if you're all aware of Ruby Tuesday, but they do fantastic work in the community. They tend to operate out of the library, and it's a kind of charity that Donna set up to send letters to try and help people feel engaged and connected through letter writing, which with laptops and PCs has become a thing of the past. But she came into the Youth Council, gave a really good history lesson on postage and stamps. I didn't know the person who invented penny black was from Kidderminster. but so it's quite interesting to learn of that history and the relevance locally. And what Donna did was encourage the youngsters to handwrite letters and give some cheer to Woodland View Care Home. So they all wrote letters about their hobbies and their interests and their holidays. And Donna took those letters to Woodland View Care Home. And I believe it was well received and did a lot of good. The next meeting, which is early, end of June, will involve painting rocks that will accompany eco-facts in the windows of businesses across Droitwich. It'll be run as a competition with information about the environment and to engage people on facts about the environment. So it'll be a bit like we had with the mail trail, where youngsters can go from shop to shop and build up facts and knowledge about the environment. So that will be Maisie's last meeting, but what we'll do later this week is plan it into next year as well. Happy to take any questions or comments.
Anybody got any questions?
So they've got a statue in Kidditch of Rowan Hill.
Very good.
We could do with the statue here. But never mind.
Anybody else? No? Well, thank you, Richard. That's very informative. Thank you. Item 9, unitary proposals.
Thank you, Chairman. Just a couple of updates, really. We've got the 4th officers briefing at Malvern Town Council tomorrow, and I think all members are aware there's the Wychavon all parish and town councils briefing next Monday. That's also going to be featured on Zoom on the Tuesday for anybody that's interested. The details out today. The delegates for the Monday session a week today is Councillor Brooks, Davidson and Hopkins. So we should learn more as this proceeds. That was it on unitary.
Okay, thank you. Anybody got any comments? Yes,
Can you just remind me which one's on Zoom?
Councillor Davis.
The Tuesday session next week.
Yes, Councillor Franks.
I think it's just to add that there's going to be a meeting, extraordinary meeting at District Council beginning of September to decide on the council's direction, so you can sort of try and potentially influence that one way or another. Or obviously we should also point out that there's still the consultation going on as well to get people's views.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments? Any? No? Okay. Item 10, internal auditors year-end report for period ending the 31st of March. And I'll hand this over to Mark
Thank
again.
you, Chairman. So the next 4 items really is the statutory year-end business. So I need a resolution on each. So I'll take each one in the order that they're listed. So the first one, internal auditors year-end report period end 31st of March. So just on that, is the report that's been circulated. It's actually a joint report covering the interim, which is in November, and the year-end in May, the 2 visits from the internal review. Mainly for the reason of the 23-24 mayoral charity matters. These are referred to in the report, and particularly the final box, and also drawn attention to in what the auditor provides is an engagement letter. So that goes off with the year-end submission to the external auditor in London with his other 2 specially commissioned reports on that matter. We've covered all of that, but that was just to mention because it's in his year-end. In summary then, on his various other observations, and these change because the regulations change year on year. So there's 3 sections really. Assets. Assets are recorded at historic purchase value, £1 for gifted items, and then variable insurance value according to the renewal schedule every year. Kevin, the internal auditor's recommendation is for us to consider reevaluating the civic regalia. So that's a chain, maces, those sort of items. That accords with him recommending that we revalue the 2 owned buildings a couple of years ago. I've noted here that the council should consider this with the expected changes for unitary on asset holdings in general and potential acquisitions over the next couple of years. It should also be understood, though, that the revaluation of civic regalia will most likely increase insurance premiums considerably. That happened at Evesham, their insurance premium took a real hike, and that's the reason that they've got 1600 era Maces, same as ours. So I'm not saying don't do it immediately, but we should do it to align with the unitary thing, with all the other changes for the policy. So that was that one. The second area was payroll. The internal auditor prefers payroll arrangements to be maintained in-house, whereby historically the town council has managed this through an agent, which is Woodhaven for payroll. This again will be subject within 2 years with unitary to change and will need to be reallocated to an external agent or taken in-house, depending on what changes happen. Because no unitary councils maintain payroll agency arrangements for any other towns or parishes. So it's one, we don't need to change it now, but in due course we will. We are registered with HMRC for everything, as we should be as an organisation, but he prefers us to manage the payroll in-house rather than third party. And then thirdly, reserves. The guiding principle, which is the practitioner's guide, recommends 6 months operating capital is held in reserves. This can be estimated for the town council as approximately 50,000 per month. So that's split 20,000 on salaries, 30,000 on obligations, liabilities and operating costs for everything. So that equates to around 300k for the 6 months. The makeup of the reserves is currently split. We had restricted capital of 186,000. We allocated 38 of that last summer for the Cockroach improvements for the footways, and 92,000 of that is already budgeted for the capital spend contribution for the Heritage Centre. So out of the restricted capital, that would leave 56 or thereabouts. However, it's not complex, our reserves, but it's in different pots. So we have 10,000 in CIL, Community Infrastructure Levy as well, with 25,000 ring fence, which we have to do every year in the budget, and that's 12,000 for general business and 13 is set aside for the next term elections, so it's paid on the 4th year. So that's that 25. And then liquid reserves is variable at all times, but it's currently approximately 205 to around 250. So our total reserves is between 296,000 and 320 after we've paid for the TIC project in its entirety by January. So we are slightly over what the recommended is, but it's in good reach really. So if members are happy with the internal auditor's report, which is item 10, we need to propose a seconder and all in favour to accept it.
I have a question. The accounting for the mayor's events, such as we had in 23, have we written up the procedures which the accountants, both accountants and this one, recommended to be put in action so that the mayor, mayoress, can sign acceptance of those rules?
We haven't as yet, no.
I think it's not something we can leave, because if it were to happen again in the future, where we have no control over that, but the council would pay the consequences, I'm sure, if the matter arose again, and we can't control the sort of people that we might have in the council in a couple of years' time.
Yes, Councillor Fellows.
Yeah, I will be raising, just so you all know, some objections to the last highlighted items on the report. I will be putting this in writing and taking it where we need to take it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? So, have we got a proposer? Thank you. A seconder? Thank you. All those in favour? Any against?
I abstain against.
So is that an
Is
abstention?
that an abstention?
Yes.
Right, so item 11, governance statement.
So
I'm not over to you again.
very similar to the last item, the governance statement, this cross-references to item 10. This is a bit of the annual return that goes to the external auditor for the account. So the notable issue is his negative response to assertion O, which we've already. That means for the council, the town council, we therefore have to mark ourselves negative response to assertion 9, despite the charity funds being non-incorporated. So that's really all I've got to say on that. So need to propose a second and all in favour.
Have we got any comments on this? So can I have a proposer, a seconder?
Happy to propose.
All those in favour? Any against? Abstentions? And item, where were we? Item 12, annual accounts. And I'll have that vote to mark as well.
Okay, so thank you, Chairman. This is Council's year-end accounts position as at 31st of March 2025. Shows the position with prior year 23-24. So in summary for the year-end 24-25, turnover is approximately 1.6 million. Assets held currently valued at approximately 5.9 million. That's as at last renewal, 1st of January. On prior year, the only reportable variance, so I have to report variances on prior year of 15% and above separately and break those down, is box 3, which is other receipts, so other income received. So when you break that down, that's an increase of approximately 42,500 on the previous year. From the analysis, this is nearly all additional supplementary income from room hire lettings, retail, and also a small amount of grant funding, which was chiefly the Natural Network, 17,000, which is overall a positive position. Some commentary on box 6, which is all other payments. That's increased 34,000 on prior year to approximately 378,000 for the 12 months. This shows that the council maintains a sensible approach because with last year's expenditure, there's quite a lot of significant transactions within that for projects. So I've listed 3. 13,000 still was spent on the 2 replacement bus shelters for Chaucer. That was Councillor Clements. And that was good use of that because it was up for expiry on 5 years. 38,000 capital, which was spoke about earlier, on restricted, that went to the Cockwood Park footpath network. And then we actually paid 15,000 architect, survey and planning application costs for the TIC project, but we paid for that out of last year's money. So that's getting ahead really of the project. On grants we had during that year, we had Natural Networks 17.5 in, the NDP neighbourhood plan, in total it's around 16,000, and we just found out that the funding for that has now stopped. So anybody seeking to do a neighbourhood plan going forwards, they will not get funding from locality. So we're quite pleased with that because we've managed to come virtually cost neutral on with that. So the timing was good. And then 130,000, which is the community legacy from Wychavon, that's money in, money out, but we'll start to draw that down with the project. So again, if members are happy with it's a numeric sheet really, the account statement. We need to propose a second and all in favour.
Yeah. Any comments on that before I go to proposer and seconder? No. So we need a proposer. Thank you. And a seconder. Thank you. All those in favour?
Yeah.
Thank you. Item 13, confirmation of the dates of the period for the exercise of public rights. want to after that, Mark.
Okay, so again, it recaps really on the 4 items we just covered. As within a public body, we have to publish the accounts as they're sent off. So there's timescales for that. The notice date has to be the day before it's put on the website. So the notice date is today, the result night, and they'll be on the website, and they have to be on there for a period. So that period will be Tuesday the 17th, tomorrow, until Monday the 28th of July. We need a separate minute number, that's why it's separate items.
Yeah. So,
Propose second, all in favour.
can we have a proposer for this? Thank you very much. And a seconder? Thank you. All those in favour? Thank you very much. Item 14, update of authorised signatories and bank mandate.
So again, on internal audit matters really, the internal auditor asks us to review this periodically. We last did it in October and June, I think, last year. So it's just to say that there's no change to the signatories at the moment.
Right.
So it's just proposed second. And all.
So, can I have a proposer for this? Thank you very much. And a seconder? Thank you. All those in favour? Thank you very much indeed. Item 15, Freedom of Information Act 2000. Recommendations by the internal auditor as at May 2025 review visit regarding the legal requirements to publish information in accordance with the ICO model publication scheme. And I'll hand that over to Mark because I don't understand half of what I've just made.
Thank you, Chairman. So again, as it says in the brief there, it's not a requirement under the accounts and audit regs, but it is a statutory requirement under freedom of information to adopt this policy. So it's provided the policy, this is the internal auditor, and we just need to adopt it without any amendment, which is covered in the actual wording of it.
Yeah, so, okay.
And then it will just be added to the website. We do comply with everything that's on there.
So do I. All in favour?
Yeah.
Can I have a proposer, please? Thank you very much. And a seconder? Thank you. All those in favour? Thank you very much. Item 16, Neighbourhood Development Plan. And I think I hand this over.
Thank you, Chairman. So this is a mirror image really of the item that was on planning committee last week. The reason we put it on again is it is a significant consultation. We're just starting the second week of it. We've had some good engagement so far, and we have the first of the 3 drop-in events next Wednesday and then the following 2 Wednesdays. So it's just to reaffirm that so that members know exactly what we're doing.
Yes.
Thank you. Just a couple of points I would like to mention. One is, as we've heard already, it's our neighbourhood development plan. I understand it's going to be very important as we move to unitary. And having said that, I'm very pleased. Mark's already stolen my thunder there, but the opportunity to start a neighbourhood development plan and get a grant for doing that is gone. But we're the funding really finished. What we're doing is still on course, and I'm very pleased that the whole thing is on course. It's on budget and it's on course. I'm really pleased with that.
Yeah, yes, Councillor Davidson.
Yeah,
And you first.
I just like to say that I still haven't had the letter in the post.
Oh,
You should get one, but you don't need one to do feedback. It's on the website, it's just a QR code.
No, just, in case everybody else has had one except me.
oh. Jimmy, no, mate. Yes.
Just to really update people, I raised the question about solar panels at the last meeting, and I said that it was going through Parliament at the present time. I'm pleased to say, thanks to the member for Cheltenham, that the bill was passed, and on the basis of that bill, all new homes will be required to use solar panels in the future. There may be some exceptions, but there'll be very few. So I think it's a good move, but it's important that we know this, and anyone can look up the Sunshine Bill if you want to get a bit more about that. It's relevant in discussions we may have with the public.
Yeah, councillor Brooks.
Sorry, I forgot to do the commercial break, the advert, for planning training, having said how important it is, and we don't know, but our role in the planning process is going to change and may become more significant. So planning training has been organised for 6 o'clock on the 2nd of July. And I would ask everyone, please do come, because we need to be able to present a very professional front when we are dealing with planning applications.
What day of the week is that?
Wednesday. It's a Wednesday.
I would love to, but we'll be on our way sailing
All those who
to
can.
Norway. Yes, councillor Morris.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. At this level, we don't like to be political, do we? We're here for all our residents in the town, but I think it's really sad that the funding has been pulled for neighbourhood plans, particularly when we're going to local government review. Surely at this time, as Councillor Brooks has said and Mark said, it's more important than ever that towns and localities can get a neighbourhood plan, to get local representation, to get communities together to say what planning they want in their area. So to stifle it and pull the funding, I think is a real travesty.
Yeah, yes. And I want to congratulate the officers and Bob for all the hard work they've done on this neighbourhood plan, because if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be in the position we're in now. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. If I just mention the Wednesday, this training, it actually follows the session at the library, because we've got a session from 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock on Wednesday, the 2nd of July, a drop-in session. And again, I'm hoping that a few people, if they're not going on holiday, a few people will be able to come along to the library and just come across the road and training. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? No? Thank you. Well, we'll carry on then. Item 17, to receive and consider the minutes of the undermentioned committees, planning, resources and community amenities, all on the 9th of June. I'll take these in block.
I'm happy to propose these. I'm very happy to second.
Who's that?
All those in favour?
Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
wish Councillor Duffy would stop shouting.
Which one? Oh, it's his own fault. Item 18, WCC Lensman Scheme. I'll hand that over.
Just to notify a couple of changes, really. The first one is we get set a budget by county in April. What that means is we sometimes have to change the allocation that we make in preceding January. But it's positive because they've given us a little bit more money. It's 6392.75 for the Lensman budget, 1st of April to 31st of March. To coincide with the renewal, Rob, who was a Lensman, he stepped back from that, just down to health issues at the moment. But we've reallocated it to Dan Lovett from Top Cup, who is also on the Lantry scheme for Lensman with County. And he is quite proactive. He's got a wider team to tackle the work, so we can really use that 639275 well. So if members are aware of any cutting back, small scheme works within the 30-mile-an-hour zone, let me know. Can't do things like tarmacking or working at height or anything like that. And then we'll just get those allocated to Dan as and when they come in. So far, we've given him a long list, and he's actively eating into it.
Right. Yes,
Is Rob, does he intend to return to the role at any time?
Not the Lensman role, because it was the heavy lifting side of it, but he is also our caretaker and handyman, so.
Should we record our thanks to Rob?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So it's a win-win, really, and as I say, the money is received in from county and paid out, so we need to use it.
Any other comments? No? So we will continue. The local government pension scheme.
Thank you, Chairman. So this one is the LGPS, Local Government Pension Scheme. It's a discretionary policy. None of the town councils in this area have had this in place. It's a new thing that's come from the LGPS, and that they've asked for, basically it's a template one that we've done. It's just a reasonable policy. Evesham, Malvern and Pershore have all done the same. So I've just really taken a template one for us to adopt, and it's also recommended by CALC and the internal auditor scrutinised it in May. So members are happy, we will just adopt that, and then I'll let the LGPS know.
So we can vote on it. So we've got a proposer and a seconder. And thank you, all those in favour?
Thank you.
Can I just comment that I was very interested in the 85-year rule. Can I recommend everybody reads up and finds out what it is? No, I don't.
Right. Item, where are we? 26. Item 20, proposal for collaboration with the Droitwich Place Board and other stakeholders to enhance and improve the aspects of the pedestrian gateway routes and accessibility for the town council. To consider the attached motion outlined and referred by councillors Della and Duffy. So over to you, Frank.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So I'm going to read out the slightly amended version because it's changed a little bit from the paper which you sent around. So it says that this council calls on Worcestershire County Council to fully engage with a broad range of local partners in the formation of the local cycling and walking infrastructure plan. And like all good public sector bodies, it has an acronym. So that's LCWIP for Droitwich Spa. So in particular, this council is keen to ensure the views of Droitwich Town Council and Droitwich Spa Place Board, as well as other businesses, residents and local groups in the town have the opportunity to influence the LCWIP as consulted. This council fully supports the town centre perspective for the town and considers that improvements for pedestrian access along the main gateways and approaches to the town centre and other local facilities and amenities such as like the leisure centre, including Omley Street West, Omley Way, Worcester Road, Stalkway, and other active travel routes that are key to the economic viability of the town. We also call on the County Council to look at what more can be done for the Wheelie community. This council further calls on Worcestershire County Council to invest in projects identified within the LCWIP. Plus, the council also calls on the Wychavon District Council Town Panel to have this on their agenda. Now, there's a lot of acronyms in there, but effectively what we're asking to do is to be a consultee when it comes to the LCWIP. We've identified areas such as the gateways to town, such as the active travel routes to encourage people to walk and have a better experience, or cycle and have a better experience while they're doing that. And what I would also like to highlight is we have at county we have some very hard-working councillors, three of which are in this room, and we're asking that the new administration put some money into the town for active travel to ensure that we become a healthy town and have the opportunity to walk and cycle in safe easily are. So effectively what it is, we're asking to be a consultee in the LCWIP, and we want to highlight active travel, we want to highlight gateways into towns and as well other amenities.
Anybody any more comments on this? Councillor Duffy.
Thank you. I'll try this one by me, if it's working. So a good portion of this was off the back of a lot of the work Wychavon and the place done in the town centre. We're quite keen to make sure everyone in the town can access the town centre and any facility in the town in any way they wish. Hopefully, as supports our town greatly, by foot or by wheel. off the back of the town centre prospectus commissioned by Witchaven that outlines the three main pedestrian gateways into the town, being the underpasses under the salt, which it names the gates to the town centre.
Who was there? Councillor Franks.
Yeah, I just wanted, obviously, I'm very supportive of this motion, and I want to thank Councillors Della and Duffy for listening to one or two of our concerns and integrating in a collaborative way some of the points. I think, yes, certainly the consulting with local groups and residents is a big thing. And obviously now we have a Droitwich cycling, walking and wheeling group, which is just being formed at the moment, which will help to sort of not only do events, etc., but also look to consult on things like this. And yeah, one of the big issues I wanted to highlight was that obviously cycling is a big part of the LC WIP as well as pedestrianisation, but obviously the wheeling community sometimes has been left out. It is now part of the LC WIP, but it never made it into the name. But the also wheeling community sometimes have a lot of difficulty getting around town, and we want to make sure they're very much included as well. Thank you.
Councillor Humphries, you want to say something?
Yes, thank you. Again, I echo what Councillor Franks has just said, fully support this motion. My concern is though around full consultation, particularly with disabled members of the public, because sharing space with cyclists is an interesting challenge if you can't hear them or see them. So making sure that we actually take into consideration everyone's views rather than just those people who that we're trying to encourage out of their cars and to walk.
Thank you. So we've got a proposer, so have we got a second? Yes.
Yes, Dan, can I just ask, I'm hopeful this will be passed in a couple of minutes. In what way do you want it to be communicated, proposed to the place board? I mean, it's tomorrow, place where you're actually committing, so you want it to be sort of brought up there.
It doesn't have to be that, and the LC isn't for until later this year anyway. So I just think we're highlighting that we would like the place board to be a consultee alongside the town council.
It might be worth mentioning to tomorrow.
Yeah. Any other comments? Right, we've got a proposer, we've got a seconder. Thank you. All those in favour? Unanimous, thank you very much. 21, yes. Witchaven District Council, Droitwich Place Board update. Alex?
That's me, yes.
Thank you.
Just to say the place board actually is meeting tomorrow afternoon, and actually Councillor Della is coming to talk about it for the Dementia Town. A lot going on. The sort of thing's been very successful. The bike nights, which are now happening every month, been really well supported. I think last week was a bit iffy, because of the weather, which is anything else. Well, that's been very good. Obviously the health walk, all the links with the paths going through the church fields are developing. You'll have all seen the mural that's been completed. Now work's going on to the other mural near the Tower Hill. So there's a lot going on that too. So it's actually very active, but we have got a meeting tomorrow, so I'll know more. To go to more from that, but it has worked very well. Thank you. Nothing to worry about. That is, isn't it?
No, I would just say with Bike Night last week, because they're phenomenal. This is the fourth one, isn't it, I think? But there were more volunteers, so thank you to the fire cadets for supporting. There weren't as many bikes, but as Councillor Sinton said, that was because it was raining earlier on. But there were more Droitwich people that came out, I felt. And the traders were more up for the welcome as well, they were more open. So generally, there was a really good feel, and it's gathering momentum because of that.
Correct. Yes.
I was interested to read about an event at the Chateau Impney recently. If you noticed, there were a lot of scooters coming in and out of town. There was some kind of bike and scooter gathering organised at the Chateau. It was in the local what they were, anti-social sites. And if it's going to happen again, it might be worth linking the bike rides up with the chateau event.
Actually, Rob Spollen from the Chateau is actually on the Blaze board. So it might be worth mentioning to it.
Yeah, definitely something happening up there with a lot of bikes and a lot of, especially scooters as well. Yeah.
So where are we?
So, 22 county. And
Right.
on this one, Chairman, obviously there's Councillor Morris, but you can invite Councillor Dunbirch and Councillor Sir James if they want to have anything on county matters.
Okay. So yes, we've got county matters next. So Councillor Dan Birch, welcome.
Thank you.
And Councillor James.
Sir James.
So James, welcome to you as well. If you wish to say anything, now's your chance.
If that's okay, yeah. I'll come to purchasing rather than turn around.
Yes.
I'll keep it short and sweet. I usually try and keep it this precious. I'll try to do the same here. Just as wave updates, if it is too long, keep putting complaints afterwards, so we'll make it a bit short for the next one. Just firstly to say, luckily, I've had a bit of a heads up from Councillor Della around the motion he was bringing, and we've all been able to get some work started on that in terms of the county council perspective. So there isn't a budget at county council at the moment, things like dropping curbs and things like that. It's usually paid for our members out of the budgets that's set for individual members. So I've already had that discussion, and it's something we're taking to the cabinet member for highways to ask for that budget to be implemented so that we can start getting drop curbs. Because just down the road here, just by the Drogheda Hospital, there's not a drop curb there. So there's already been a few complaints from residents about the fact that they can't access the town just from a few metres away from us. So we're getting that in process. And I've also spoken to the county council about the LC whip, and they have categorically told me it is 100% happening this summer. The consultation will be taking place. There will be no further delays. So they promised me that categorically. So I'm confident that we'll be able to start making some real progress on there. Just quickly to run through a couple of the issues that have been kicking off with over the past few weeks. So Marlon Close is due to be resurfaced later this year, thanks to the use of divisional funds. It's one of the small roads off Suffolk Way that wasn't redone. The top surface was coming away in people's hands, so it really was a dangerous road. The missing pathway between Foxton's Close and Tagwell Road, I put in part of my election. That's one of the areas I want to get improved. There's no budget for new footpaths, so once again, that's came out of discretionary funds, and we've been able to get that done. And once again, that should be done by later this year. I've had a meeting with Barry Barnes around speeding concerns on Tagwell Road. So those of us who know it regularly, it's a dangerous road. There's a lot of near misses, a lot of clip one mirrors, things like that. Apparently, statistically, it is a lot safer than Frimsland. That's what the data shows. However, regardless of what that data suggests, it is a very narrow road, so we're getting a highway survey done there. The intention is to get a VAS sign put up as an initial measure. The thing we can then start looking at is some of those verges and whether they can be widened in areas. I've also a couple of the drains that sunk, raised again, so they're now back at level, so that you can use the full width of the road as opposed to having to veer into the middle to avoid going into those drains. It's also dealt with some of the noise complaints that we were getting from Tagwell Road from people driving into those drains. We've also had speeding surveys requested and in process being done along Cotsheep Hill, Hanbury Road, and the High Street. And the High Street one was to do with some of the work that Place Board are doing in Whitchaven around some of the street furniture and planting down the High Street. So there's a couple of the businesses raised concerns that the speed of traffic would make it unsafe to have other things coming into the road. So we're doing a traffic survey. We're going to see how safe it is, which should hopefully try and help enforce some of the work that the Business Association, whichever Place Board are doing. So that's currently going on, and also parking around Littleton Road. So cars start parking on both sides, which is making it incredibly narrow. It's a main cut through from one side of the town to the other. So we're having an assessment done there with the intention of ideally restricting parking along one side, so that way it's still accessible for people using the Lido, but it's still safe for those who are travelling through. There's also cycle lanes technically down Littleton Road, so it's important we do try and keep it open where we can. The graffiti under the M5 bridge, which is mentioned by the police, I reported that is going to be dealt with by National Highways. It's not county, it's national, but they are going to resolve it. They have promised us that. Overgrowth and weeds on Holloway and on the corner of Charles Henry. So Highways are committed to sending somebody down there to deal with all the weeds. They don't use weed killer in that area because they've received a number of complaints because of the fact that it's near primary school and parents are complaining about the use of weed killer in that area. So they're going to send down the HART team to essentially go and cut back all the overgrowth around the 63 Holloway side, so just up on the verges, and also on the other side where all the weeds are growing along the path. So they're going to send somebody to manually do those as opposed to. We've also had a discussion with Mark about some of the pathways on Spring Meadow. reached out to Whichaver. There isn't any grant, there aren't any grants available at the moment to resurface those paths. So what we have now done is reached out to the county to see whether they've got any Cotswold stone or anything lying about which could be used by the town council to help resurface those paths. And we've also had a chat with Mark about the installation of perhaps a new notice board around that area. It's a high population area. It's got a post box, the bus stop, the shops, and the residential facilities. So it'd be an ideal location. And I agree, if that's something the town council would be in favour of, and it's notice being referred to the resources committee, that I'd be happy to use some of my allowance to help contribute towards that. Bikes down Vines Lane. There's been a number of reports about bikes. The fact that it dates back to the Southsons days where they essentially blocked off cars from being able to go under the bridge at the bottom of Vines Lane. Bikes are able to use it as essentially a cut through to try and get away from the police. It's been reported a few times by residents down there. So what we're looking at doing now with the county is trying to put in some sort of measures so those motorbikes can't go down there and evade the police by using that. And finally, now with Fire Connect as well over the past few weeks, as many of you know, I volunteered with them. We did a community litter pick in advance of the Ricknell Comedy Festival to help clean up in the town. We've also started volunteering with Bike Nights. We do have our open evening on Wednesday, the 2nd of July, between 7 to 9. So I'll send details around. If you can advertise with your residents, and young ones aged between 13 and 17, they'll be more than welcome to come and join us. I might be slightly biased, but we're a very good group. So hopefully that covers most of it for me. And should anybody have any questions or anything comes up over the coming weeks, then please do get in touch. You will have contact details, phone numbers, emails. So reach out anytime. I'm more than happy to help.
Well, very impressive, very impressive. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor James, did you wish to say anything?
Yeah, only really quick, so I won't do the walk of fame like that. But obviously, I only look after a very tiny part, to which I am focusing with Dan and Richard on the junction by the Cocker Hub. That's turning into a nightmare. County are adamant it's only a small project, but if that's small, I'd hate to see what a large project is. And then I know there's been some concerns with a few of the roads on Ridings that they could do with a bit of TLC on sort of resurfacing. County think they're in a good state, but we're in back and forth to try and convince them otherwise. But yeah, other than that, that is my swift.
Councillor Morris, over to you.
Thank you. Just to say first, so it's 30% of your constituency, Mr. Wilson. So I think you all know that the Reform Party now run the county. They're too short of a majority, which is making it quite interesting. The Care Quality Commission are now doing their review of county adult social care. That's a road to right round the country, so they've only just decided to come into Worcestershire. BMW were right at the end, as usual. Ward activities, pathway resurfacing on Colford Close and Westbury Avenue is completed, looks far better. It's taken 3 years, so any pathway resurfacing does take a long time. It's the whole of the county, so you put it in and then it just takes time to come through. So generally it's about 3 years on finding. Pathways have also been resurfaced at Stainers Close by the assisted living bungalows and a reduction in Stainers Avenue roundabout. That has been a long battle with platform housing. The pathways there and the roundabout are owned by platform housing, and finally they agreed to put investment and to change it, which is really important because the pathways in front of the assisted living were some of the worst I've seen. And when the largely elderly people come out, they need good pathways. It's crazy. Resurfacing of the Dale and Chawson Black entrances has been completed from the potholes. Shrubbery cut back along Worcester Road has been requested from the roundabout, Cockpit roundabout to Old Coach Road. They've done some near to Old Coach Road, but there's further towards the BP garage that still needs doing really. I've asked for the entrance to 7 Dale to be resurfaced as well due to a number of potholes there. Crofters Hill pathway resurfacing will happen in September. That's north end of the Westlands. And I've requested pathway resurfacing recently on Penrice, Whitton, Shirley, Alexander and Old Coach Road on the west hand side as you're going up towards Whitton School, so on the right hand side. Again, pathways that in old drawings that really need doing that haven't been done for some time. So generally it's all in hand, but a lot more to be done.
Thank you. Any comments? Yes.
Just a thank you to Councillor Morris, really, as Richard knows, my mother-in-law lives on Westbury Avenue, so she's very thankful for having the pathways done, so even for that, making that a lot easier. And for getting, you did mention in your report, but for getting obviously a vegetation cut back, so now very selfishly, my walk to church is a lot easier. So thank you for that, Richard, as well.
Good.
Right, any other comments? Thank you very much, Richard. Right, district council matter.
Sorry, Madam Mayor, because the obviously one was interesting because that was actually done by the Central Residents Association. They tidied up right from St Nicholas School right over to the railway station as part of the residents group. So they did a terrific job.
Jolly good. District council matters. I presume this is Councillor Duffy.
Let's have another go. To be enthusiastic about music, it can take a toll on the voice. So, a very big notable one at the moment is the local government reorganisation update, which have received feedback on our interim plan for the government. The key points are that the 500,000 population figure is a guiding principle and not a target. Any proposal submitted can be below that figure as long as it is justified. The government have given Worcestershire 258,000 to progress the reorganisation and devolution proposals. 6 district councils have launched the Shape Worcestershire public engagement exercise. Please encourage businesses, community groups and town and parish councils to visit shapeworcestershire.org to find out more and fill in by the 29th of June. A special council meeting will be held, I think this was mentioned earlier, on the 3rd of September to allow councillors to decide which option they wish to submit to the government. So we'll know more there. The government has clarified the position regarding reorganisation and local plans. In a written answer in Parliament, the Minister stated the legal status of local plans is not impacted by local government organisation. Where reorganisation occurs, new unitary authorities are expected to promptly prepare a local plan covering the whole of their area. Until that new plan is adopted, existing constituent local plan in force as part of the developed plan for their area. New unitary authorities have the discretion to progress emerging constituent local plans. The local government minister, Jim McHone, has stated his preference for the creation of the local neighbourhood committees to ensure strong community engagement following the move to unitary government. Where are we next? The local government and social care ombudsman has sent through Whitshaven's 2024-2025 annual letter, an Excel workbook providing additional information on the complaints and inquiries received in the period, the decisions made in the period, in compliance with recommendations recorded during the period. Whitshaven has won an award in its efforts to tackle empty homes, one of which praised Councillor Rick Delafore in his work. This included bringing in a dedicated empty homes officer, Anne Mary Bishop, who has done incredible work putting in place a whole host of things to make a real difference in the area. In another news, look out for Ted Says. We're working with Worcestershire County Council on a new campaign to tackle nappy contamination. Incredibly used nappies make up 13.5% of the non-recyclable contaminants, contents of our residents' green recycling bins. Keep Britain Tidy has researched why this happens and found out one of the main reasons is people are genuinely confused about whether used nappies can be recycled or not because of the information on packaging. We've adopted the Ted Says campaign, which Keep Britain Tidy developed successfully with councils in the Greater Manchester area. The campaign is a fun way of getting a simple message across to residents. Nappies should always go in the black general waste bin. You should see posters of this soon in various places around the district to make sure to spread this with residents, especially any you know who may be having children soon, recently had children. An upgrade to the Droitwich Spa Leisure Centre and water play. The car park is being extended to create an extra 292 spaces and 24 spaces for bicycles. Construction is expected to be completed by the end of July. Detailed costs for the next phase were discussed by councillors earlier in May, so work can start as soon as the car park is completed. The proposal includes an extension for a new learner pool, cafe, new reception area. Parts of the existing centre will be refurbished and modernised. Air source heat pumps will provide the new extensions, heating requirements, LED lighting, water saving measures, and solar panels will also be installed. Work on stage 2 is expected to commence by the end of August and be completed by September 2026. Plans for a new skate park near the leisure centre are also being finalised. We hope to appoint a contractor for the £300,000 scheme early next year, with work starting by May 2026. The pump track is also planned for the site, with work set to begin once the skate park is completed. In the photo on the right, there's a photo attached if you want when circulated. It shows the progress in the new Lido Park water play area. Hopefully you will have been through the Lido recently, seeing the progress there.
It's further on that now.
Yeah, so this photo is all outdated. I'd encourage you all to go through the Lido instead to see the most recent progress. The schemes are part of our Witchhaven We Are Witchhaven plan, which includes a multi-million-pound investment in the health and well-being in Droitwich. For more, you can visit the witchhaven.gov.uk Community and Living Droitwich Leisure and Wellbeing Investment webpage. Again, we had our Visit Worcestershire Tourism Awards. It is upcoming. Applications are now open for the Visit Worcestershire Tourism Awards, which celebrate the best businesses around the county, valued at billions of pounds. These awards recognise outstanding organisations, sustainable practices, and new businesses in the tourism sector. Worcestershire's winners will advance to the National Visit England Awards for excellence, where they have a chance to be shortlisted. It's easy to enter the awards, which are open to all leisure and hospitality businesses in the county. Across 15 categories, businesses can apply in more than one category. The categories, I'll go through all of them, but will be circulated in a copy of this report. So take a look if you know any that particularly deserve or should be entered for awards, for the county awards. Grants are now available for Worcestershire businesses to cut energy costs. Businesses in Witchhaven can now access generous support to improve energy efficiency and reduce costs, thanks to the grants from the Business Energy Advice Services. I believe I have one or two more. So an update from the South Worcestershire Development Plan. So the planning inspectors have confirmed their intention to briefly reopen the SWDPR public examination in September regarding the proposed allocation at Milton. Sorry, I've moved my page now. The issue will consider additional work that either has been or is being prepared on ecological issues. Further, Curlew surveys are currently underway, and transportation for the junctions within Tewkesbury. The impact on traffic of the Cotswolds national landscape. It is anticipated that the additional session on Mitten will be a virtual session on the 4th of September. And I think that covers most of what I wanted to cover, unless any of my districts want to add to that before my voice. So,
Yes. Praise.
Just
Please
a
don't
few-
get him to repeat that.
What did you say, sir? So just a quick update to myself. So I think I might have mentioned before, but the pump station has been repainted. At the same time, the Guernsey Lane and Salt Barrow market lighting has now been redone, so I don't know if you've seen it, but it looks really nice and definitely fitting with the heritage. The notice board on Salt Barrow Market is being renewed because it was become a bit run down, graffiti, etc. That's hopefully going to be done very soon, so that'll be up and running. Then I'll be letting the town council officers know so they can start getting the posters back into it. The bike repair station on Salt Barrow Market is also being vandalised. So I'm going to be talking to Richie about that. I've already mentioned it to them, but the problem is it's not overlooked. So it's going to, if we just replace it, it's just going to be vandalised again. So I think we need to think of it as part of a bigger look at cycling in the town and how we can sort of better facilitate it. Road sweeping, I'm sure my councillor colleagues, district know that this is an ongoing issue. We're trying to get the road sweeping done. I am reporting roads left, right and centre, but there is an issue, I think, with the heavy goods licences around it, so it's not being done as quick as I think everybody wants to be done. There's also FCC, keep reporting of low resources, so I'm trying to understand, get to the bottom of that. And also I've got an idea around the road sweeping to try and, if they can tell us which roads are going to do when, we can potentially let residents know so they could voluntarily take their roads off the road, so the road sweeping could potentially be a bit more effective as well. I have asked District Council again, I mean this was first proposed by Councillor Birch a while back, we've talked to myself and Councillor Morris, Nicola Morris, not Richard this time, but obviously nothing's happened so far, so I'm hoping to bring the underpass art to Droitwich East, which would be quite fitting and increase the trail and help a lot. And there's other projects on the way that I'm working on, so and if there's any issues, just give us a shout. Thank you.
And if going to download, back to your voice, I'm glad we're only going to the Northern Theatre to see Greece.
I must say, it sounds worse than it feels. The real damage is on the ankles.
Right.
Just ask one question, sorry.
Yes, sorry.
I tell you what, I've waited all these years of being a councillor to have a conversation about nappies at church, so council, first time I've ever come across that. No, it's a question from this morning, actually. We were down at the Ladies Centre, and we were asked, I said we had a meeting, will the actual swimming pool be closed at any point? It will.
It will.
How? Yeah.
It'll be closed for quite a while, whichever leisure are working through the plans and the options around that. I know that some people are concerned about not having the swimming pool access, but it's a refurb, we're upgrading, so it's only one way. But what will happen, I know it's not the same swimming pool, but the Lido will be open when the leisure centre's closed, and the leisure centre one will be open when we close the Lido to do the refurb there.
We'll upset a few people, but I won't pass it on.
But the excitement of the future will be something.
Oh yeah, that's absolutely. Try telling my 4-year-old. Yes.
Right, item 24, to consider the exclusion of the public and press by So can I have a proposal to this? And a second. All those in favour? Thank you very much.